how to make homemade bacon. Picked up 20 pounds of pork belly from Costco Business for about $4.99 per pound Canadian dollars, or about $3.60 USD per pound. I keep it simple when I cure my bacon. I use brown sugar, curing salts, and regular sea salt. Well, I bought 26 pounds of pork belly. I only need about 20 of that. I'm cutting these into 6 pieces. The great thing about Costco Business is that they've already removed the skin. If you buy pork belly with the skin on, it is a lot of work to take off. I cut these up into 6 pieces, and each piece has to fit inside one of these freezer Ziploc bags. I know the size of my smoker and that it can only take 6 of these pieces that actually fit into these Ziploc freezer bags. Now, if you have a bigger smoker, then you can smoke the whole thing if you want. The great thing of getting pork belly from Costco Business sealed, vacuum sealed, is that you know that they haven't injected it with any water or tenderized it using a mechanical method. So you want just the pure pork belly untouched. Okay, so now I've cut these into 6 pieces into the Ziploc freezer bags, and they're about 3.4 pounds each. And so now I'm going to cure for 3.4 pounds of pork belly. I'm using 1/3 cup brown sugar, 1/4 cup sea salt, and half a teaspoon of curing salts. Now you have to be careful with the curing salts. You only use a little bit because if you overuse it or you mix it up, it can get a bit dangerous if you put too much or you think that it's just regular salt. So I would store it in a very safe place. You can use the EQ method, which you can go online on Google, search for it, and put in the exact grams of your pork belly, and it'll give you back the salt, the sugar, curing salt measurements. What I find the problem with the EQ method is that it's actually under-seasoned, so it's giving you what is the safe amount, the minimal safe amount. But I find that I want mine a lot saltier. It's just more flavor. So there's nothing worse than an under-seasoned bacon. So I take all the salt, brown sugar, make sure it's all into the Ziploc bag. I take the vegetable plastic container from my fridge and load up the bacon. Sometimes it can leak, so it's a good idea to put it into a container like this, just in case you have one package that accidentally wasn't sealed properly. Into the fridge for 5 days, and every single day I turn the package over so that it's well distributed. You're going to notice that it's going to extract a lot of liquid out of the bacon. Okay, after 5 days, I take it out. You can see all the liquid that's been extracted. I dump that out first, and then I fill my Ziploc bag with water. and I use my hand to wash a little bit of that salt and sugar off, and I do this 2 times. So everyone has their own level of saltiness that they prefer and sweetness that they prefer for their bacon. So record exactly what you've done and the measurements that I use, and then you can actually adjust up or down if you feel like you want it more salty or less salty. Some people let their bacon dry out in the fridge. I found that as long as I hit it with a lot of smoke while I'm smoking for 5 hours, it is so smoky that it's not necessary to dry it in your fridge. So I actually skip that part. Beautiful day to smoke some bacon. I'm using my Oklahoma Joe's offset smoker. I use my pine resin fire starter, and I also use a blowtorch to light that on fire. I load up my firebox with hickory wood chunks that have been drying all winter long. It is essential to use dry wood to get a high quality of smoke. So I load in my fire starter and light that up with my blowtorch. So approximately it takes about 30 minutes for me to start a fire. I do use a fan to get that fire going. But yeah, the goal is to try to get this all burnt down to coals so that you can put on one piece at a time as it's smoking over the next 5 hours. My goal is to smoke it at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. It can go up and down because you're adding wood and so forth. That's okay. It doesn't have to be so steady. It doesn't. I know that's what a lot of the barbecue guys say to do to keep it within 1 or 2 degrees, but with a smaller smoker like this, it's okay if the temperature is going up and down. Okay, time to put the bacon onto the smoker. Like I said earlier, it only fits 6 of these freezer bags, so I know that this is going to fit perfectly for my smoker. From time to time, you're going to add a small piece of wood chunk to the coals just to get that great smoke flavor and to maintain that temperature at around 250 degrees Fahrenheit. When you put a new piece on, of course, it's going to be a little bit dirty. That's okay. But once that burns down, it's going to be more of a clear, clean smoke. Look at the color that is on the pork belly. It's starting to take on a lot of that smoke flavor. Okay, after 5 hours, I'm hitting a internal temperature of 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, depending on the location of your pork belly, there's going to be different temps. So the pork belly is closer to the fire, and for my smoker, the pork belly is near the front, get a lot more heat. So I'm going to only take off 3 of them first. The ones that are done, I'm going to let the remaining 3 cook a little bit longer until it hits the appropriate temperature. I move the 3 pieces closer to the fire so that it can finish off, and then I take off the last 3 pieces of pork belly. Look at that beautiful pork belly. I'm using my friend's meat slicer that he found in his parents' basement from the 1980s. Probably should buy a new one, but I just like the nostalgia of using this old slicer. Probably took about 2 hours to slice all this up, and then I vacuum seal it and freeze. It cooks really well from frozen, so you don't have to thaw it out. And it should last in your freezer for about 1 year. Okay, let's fry up some bacon. What you'll notice is that it doesn't shrink that much. The grocery store bacon, they inject it with so much water. I don't know why you're paying for that water weight. But why does it splatter? Because it's expelling all of that water. My bacon does not splatter at all. I can put my arm over if I want to. Of course, it splatters a little bit, but it's not as crazy as the grocery store bought bacon. I like my bacon thick cut. It is meaty. It's got a nice chew to it, and if you cook it enough, it gets a little bit crispy, but it doesn't get super crispy. If you sliced it much thinner than I did, then you will get that crispy bacon, if that's what you prefer. Oh man, I wish you guys could try this. The smoked flavor is just insane. Save that bacon fat to cook with, some veggies, some broccoli, some asparagus. It tastes so good. This is by far the best bacon ever. I love it so much more than the grocery store bought bacon. You gotta try it. It's easy to do. Best bacon ever.